I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is. Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on? It's not enough to say it's nuts. You have to explain why it's so nuts. The invention of artificial life, the cloning of human beings, possible contact with extraterrestrials, the systems which are in place to keep the world sane are utterly inadequate to the forces that have been unleashed.
Welcome back to Forbidden Knowledge News. I'm your host, Chris Matthew. Today my guest is Frank Castle. Be sure to watch my films, Doors of Perception on Amazon Prime, Occult Louisiana is on Tubi, Roku Channel, Apple, and more. Booking guests for January. If you have suggestions or you'd like to be a guest, email me forbiddenknowledgenews@gmail.com. Today I want to welcome back to the show Frank Castle. He is host of the Fearless podcast, the Frank Castle Fearless channel on YouTube, and founding member of the hip-hop music group Heist Click. He is also a neo-shaman and one half of the hip-hop rock group Sons of the Sun. Frank, welcome back. How you doing?
Thank you for having me back. It's good to see your face. It's always welcome when it comes to the crazy things we're going to discuss today, to be with someone I know I can trust with it. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. And from what we were discussing before we started recording, this is going to be a hell of an episode. And again, always great catching up, sharing new understandings about our ever-changing reality. Every day, I seem to meet more and more people that are questioning narratives, seeking answers. Unfortunately, as always, the parasitic systems have answered the call for answers with more deceptions, psychological manipulation, mind control, and false hope narratives. And there are many of us that can see through all of that, the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution, playbook. But there are still way too many that have fallen for the mainstream conspiratorial traps being laid out there, seemingly for the masses to easily decode. That leads to much deeper layers of discussion, which we might get to later. But this is really why I enjoy our discussions. We dig much deeper into the layers of the construct. And although I come away with more questions than answers, it's seemingly much easier for me to navigate the insanity of our realm just by trying to explore deeper concepts within our reality. And it gives a sense of peace and faith that at least I'm doing my best here. You've had some very interesting experiences recently, seemingly a bit traumatic as well, which I really want to get to. That we'll start out there, and then we'll delve off into some of the things I touched on in my introduction, because I think there is an overlap in your story and what's happening to the rest of the collective, which we'll get to as well. But before we get too weird for everybody, briefly remind the audience about yourself and let them know how they can find out more.
All right. My name's Frank Castle, your main man, your sorcerer supreme. You could find me on YouTube at Frank Castle's Fearless or at Fearless Tribe. Come check it out. And also Sons of the Sun's music. We got that high frequency futuristic nostalgia. It's got everything you need built right into the sound that you've been waiting for. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and share to everything we're doing here today. Sending out those positive vibes to everyone. Time to raise the frequency up in this place. My brother.
That's it, man. I'm sure it's the same for you. In my journey, there have been several of those moments that change everything. Paradigm shifters that completely change our perspective and understanding of the nature of reality. And from what I understand, you recently had one of those, which manifested in a sort of near-death experience. Please tell us all about this.
All right. Well, so even in my position of being shamanic in practice, right, I still got holes in my game, right? I'm still just a guy from the Bronx. You know, I have a lot of experiences, but I don't know everything. By far, I know nothing. But the deeper I try to get into the scenarios out there, the more I'm learning of what this really is and how this reality really works. So funny, earlier we're talking about the nature of reality. So being in the digital, biological, holographic universe, we're being held together by consciousness, which holds together your own personal hologram. What is you? What you look like? The DNA that activates inside of you. Okay, so all is you. You are the creator. All good. Okay, one simple misstep in the ascension that can throw out an emotional burst in one shot so big can get your body to do either the fainting goat, give yourself a heart attack, throw yourself into a seizure. And a lot of times people are like, oh, what did he see that did that to him? Because he stood with Ra right there. I was right down in the basement when I first met him, in the dark, creepy place. Never had the heart condition or the problem. No, I was being trained to stand in their presence. Oh, so you can stand in the presence of an ET or an interdimensional? Why, yes, I can. But then this moment arrives where it hits in the 3D moment. And I can't tell you what that was, but I can tell you I had such an extreme reaction to it that I was telling Chris, I screamed so loud and just gurgled it out,
So,
man. I never did that
I know
before.
you can't explain exactly what it was, but for the audience, you were reacting to a very stressful situation. Is that right?
Yes, a scenario that you would never consider. And then now you're in it. And I screamed during it, like I just went 100, no control. I was telling you, like I did not have control over any this reaction. I've never had this reaction in front of anything or anyone outside of like the football field when I was a kid, where we were like, rah! Like this was beyond that. It was something so guttural, and I felt like a seizure came on from it while I was and I started shaking and I fell forward and I kicked back and I was out of my body. I was sitting in this chair and I was looking at my body from right here, standing right here. I looked down and my wife was trying to snap me out of it. She was freaking out and she didn't want to lose me. She's like, you're the most important thing. I heard every thought she had and I watched the whole thing happen from right here. Okay, so where do we take this from? Where I'm visually now standing here. This is where it goes crazy. All right, stop me if you have a question. So I'm standing here and I look over and it looks like a clock face when I look around. And I'm not standing in the middle, but the version of me that controls everyone on the numerics on the clock face, the one that's in the middle, he's focusing. He's looking at me and I'm like screaming still. Like I'm going into this whole like, why? And a version of me from the higher number. I want to say the highest, but it's not the highest number. I guess the highest number would be the light body, right? This was not a light body. This was a being in a giant white robe whose body morphed and moved like plasmic energy into shapes of all different beings and it was like multicolored, running through the whole outfit and the body, morphing into different shapes. It had antenna, and I thought, I'm being attacked and taken over. Demons are taking me. Nope, that's no demon. Look around. I'm like, man, I know you. This is all me. Right? So I'm in full awareness of that. And he comes over, takes the middle spot, and goes, you're not coming back. You're out. 100% like an angry grandfather, and said, you were 3 steps. You are 3 steps from the finish line, and you just collapsed out like that. Your contract, our contract, you're not to die. you're going to walk through this whole thing and not die and experience that. Right? Okay, you're out. I am now in charge. You get back in line, like, don't come back. And I felt the detachment, and when he went over the middle guy, I woke up in the chair looking up at Paul. My tongue went back in my mouth. I just looked at her, and she was like, oh my God, you're awake. Okay. I was like, what happened? She goes, you were out. I thought you had a heart attack. Right. And I go, well, how long was it? She's just a few seconds. I said, all right, I'm back. I got to tell you what, I'm going to shorten this now. I got to tell you what happened to me. And she's like, listen, no matter what happens in this world, the only important things are us. Remember that. You, me, the cat, your mother, that's it. The one's right here. And then you could work outward from there. It's all physical life. Everything else can be replaced and fixed or whatever. But I can't have you die like that. And I'm not going to get taken out like that. No way. And I said, well, okay. So I try to explain to her what happened. So I break it down in bits and pieces. So she says to me, I need you to clear me. There's something here. I think it's on me. So I just waddle over with her in the other room. Now, like nothing is going on, right? Everything's fine. This is what I was telling you. I'm in the best place ever. And then this weird thing happens to me. And I'm like 100% failure rate. 100% failure rate. I was like, whoa, they're like, it's not a failure. You messed up. We're moving on. You gotta move. So I'm like, this is so confusing. So she says, lays in the bed. She's like, okay, clear me. So I'm like trying to think shamanically, like, okay, this new guy is so different. He's like wafting over me. I'm like, I feel off and whatever. And I just go like this with my hand, and energy pours out of my hand into her feet, pops up. I see this dark mist going. And I go, hey, what's that? And she's like, yo, I'm telling you, there's something here. So I'm like, all right. I ground myself. I go clean and clear. We got to get this thing. And I look down, and across my chest, this mist appears. And I'm like, something's got me. And I start to feel what I felt right before I went out and had this problem, this experience. And I'm like, oh, that's really tight. And I saw it was a hand. And it was like dark smoke energy pulling. And I said, oh, that's my heart. No, that's not my heart. That's my lung squeezing. And I go, this other version of me, talking about myself in the third person is so weird, was like yelling, but very specific, not the way I would yell and scream. You cannot be here. It was like that, very, very stoic. You cannot be here. You need to go now. And I'm telling you, it was the Grim Reaper looking character came from the corner of the room. I saw the hood, the skeleton, the dark hand pulled this thing off of me and moved it across the room and went out the window with it. But as it pulled, it was around my heart and it snapped, boom, and it knocked me back. I fell back. Paula she had her own experience. She said, oh, this thing popped off and it left. And what happened to you? You're flying across the room like that. Did you get punched in your face? I'm like, no, this thing was attached to me. It squeezed me. I felt like my life was being taken from me. Like, what is this? And, I've had this experience before. I thought I was having even months before that. People were telling me I was having the MS hug when I was describing it. And I was going, but I don't have MS. Doesn't run in my family. I don't have it, literally. Like the description of having a hand in your chest across your body and everything. And I go, yeah, wait, I reckon during that experience, I ate mushrooms one night and this guy was standing there and he was putting his hand in my chest and I removed it and it went boop. So all these things keep coming back. And then I'm sitting there with Paula going, okay, I guess that we go to bed tonight and that's how it's going to be. The next day I eat mushrooms. I'm like, I can't deal with this. This is crazy. My flesh body, the onboard guy that's fight or flight, is not fighting it, but like the routines are so
now,
different.
just to clarify for the audience, when you had that stroke out experience and you left your body, you came into contact with a higher version of yourself, the being that you
Yes.
described morphing into all kinds of different beings. And this being essentially told you that it was going to take over for you. And when you came back, you could feel this being having major influence on your consciousness, basically.
100%. And he didn't say like, oh, he was like, you're out. Like you're not getting, there's no choice in this. I told you, I was crying it was a clock face, and we were all standing on it, all these versions of me. And I didn't understand it. And we'll get to that in a few, but I was like put back in line, and I was like a baby screaming, like, no, failure, like just losing his shit. And I'm like, yeah, I can't be down with that. And this guy don't have that. He doesn't have it. I don't know how to explain it. My on board wants to cry a tear and then goes, nah, I don't need to. My on board wants to do some of the stuff that I used to do. And he's like, no, that's not happening. Right. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not happening? And then it falls in a line. The fight stops because the overwhelming of the other guy, but it's me. It feels like me. He looks like me now that I'm more like, he's like, so this is what he said to me. You want ETs? You want to be able to stand with an ET? I'm now the most ET thing you'll ever witness. I'm everything that you'd be like, what is that? Unexplainable, 100%. Your description of me, no matter how good, is only describing something that your fleshy human eyes can only pale witness to. Right? I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm looking and I'm going, yeah, that's right. But he's like, this is it. We're in the final. This is it. It's over after this. I go, what's over? The hard part is over. It's going to go into really good really soon. And I'm taking the journey now. I had to step in because of the contract. I've had this happen to me during ayahuasca. So one of my cats was killed during an ayahuasca experience by a snake man. And I didn't know if it was real or not. So 3 beings came in the room. One was two were tall grays, tall with big heads. They looked really mean. And a snake man. That's why I always like when people mention reptilians, I'm like, yo, you better watch them, because those are the ones, the reptilians that we think of. Those are the ones they're scared of. So he came in the room and everyone was standing, and I'm sitting on the couch like, what the hell is happening? I got my ayahuasca basket. I look up, he looks down at me, and he pushes out yellow energy into me, and I start throwing yellow liquid up out of me like unbelievable. Blah, blah. And Paul is watching me going, what's going on in here? And I'm like, they're in the room with us. They're in the room with us. I'm like, they're in the room with us. So I go through this experience, and he goes, okay, I hear him say to the other guy, hey, this isn't working, what I'm doing. So take the closest one to him. So my cat, who's not even a year old, comes into the room, into the middle, sees these cats see everything. I'm telling you, sees that they're in there, looks at me, and the snake takes his finger, grabs the tail of the cat, jams his finger and breaks it off on the back end of the cat. The cat leaps into the air, ridiculously high for a not even a year old. And then the cat gets sick and goes into, you could see, it's like, goes into the other room. And I start screaming, how dare you? And I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm like, I'm going to fucking kill you for touching my cat. I'm getting all worked up over it. And then there were three people there. My great grandfather, a lion, and what looked like a king, but in the white robe. He was like, face was shadowed, but he kind of looked like me. It looked like he had a crown, but it was really glowing. And they were both, the 3 of them were standing over me. And my grandfather said, I said, great grandpa, what are you doing here? And he goes, oh no, I'm coming to take you. I'm going to cross you. And I said, what do you mean cross me? I'm not dead. And then he's like, look at your body. And I was on the floor, just dead. And I'm like, wait a second. How the fuck did that happen? Right? I was so angry. So he looks over and he goes, you two guys got to figure this out. What are you going to do? You only got a certain amount of time. So the lion looked over at the king. They like looked at each other, and he was like a white lion, like a king lion. And he growled at me and then jumped into my body. And then I woke up. I stood up. The alien, the ET was really tall. I was ready to attack him physically, but knowing that I couldn't, the energy around me built up. It was like white light, like, and they were like, yo, we're leaving. Everyone left. The snake guy slithered out the back window. The whole scenario changed. Everything changed. And then I had to go take care of my cat. 2 days later, my cat was dead. Then they took, so hear me. So his belly was big. And I said to the vet, what's going on inside this cat? I couldn't tell the vet what happened. I had my wife with me. So he gives me a picture, an x-ray. And the x-ray just showed like, it looked like a balloon blown up with the head of a snake with its fangs out, coming from where the rectal area was, but coming in. And he goes, I don't know what that is. He goes, but it's showing up. And I said, it looks like the head of a snake. He goes, it does. He goes, it's not. A snake didn't go up its butt. And I'm like, yeah, okay, no doubt. I had to put the cat down because he was like, yo, this cat's going to die painfully. Like, right. Like he's dying. He didn't know where he was. He was going like, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I've had these. So the lion was with me for a long time. It was the lion. The other guy was gone. He like disappeared. I didn't even know what happened to him because the pain was so intense. So it was like the cat needed to comfort the cat and be there in the moment because that's who the enemy decided to take out.
Wow.
When I did, I got so angry one night, I smoked DMT and then was like, I wanted to go after these creatures. And it turned into, it was only 2 days after Squeak died. It was like, they told me, no, first of all, we're not doing that. So it was all of the gods and goddesses and everyone I've ever come in contact with was on a line to come to see me to pay respects that happened. And that the animals take the hits for us sometimes. And you see how it changes the scenario. They were like, the lion is you. That was your grandfather in case you were going to cross. And the other guy was, that's another version of you who was looking at the lion like, I ain't doing it. You're doing it. It's your turn. So I'm like, you guys taking turns jumping in and out of me? And they're like, no, that's you. But they already did it. And they were watching, but it's you. So they can't let you go down like that. Right. A lot of these creatures aren't allowed to interfere the way some of them have been interfering.
Wow.
You know, people talk shit, and then there's that line that you cross. Yeah. I was on a ley line, right? So the ley line, we were taking it back. I didn't know we were taking it back. And the reptilians, every ceremony, every day, every fucking day, reptilians in my apartment coming in, threatening me, never doing nothing. Black goo everywhere. I'm like, man, trying to clean this stuff up. So we finally get everything cleared up and cleared out. And I'm starting to have great ceremonies. We have like 8 guys come over once. We had like fucking 4 shaman. It was great. And it's in this little apartment, but we all went outside. It was awesome. Everyone leaves. The next morning, I'm on the front lawn and one of those white dragon Draco reptilians just like rolls up. And I'm not on anything. And he tries to get me. Like literally came through the gate and was in my shit. And froze right here. And I screamed. Ah! And I saw I met the Galactic Federation. They took him. They were like, oh, he came up to get you, huh? You pissed them off so bad that their boss came up to get you. They're not allowed to do that. That cannot happen. That's like the illegal strike that allows us to come in. There was so many of these Federation guys around me it was 11 o'clock in the morning, right on my lawn. They were everywhere. There were ships above the house, right? A few days later, met Space Jesus. I call him that. He came off of one of the ships. He came up to the fence and he said, yo, you let me in? I need to talk to you. I let him in. We talked and he was with these Federation guys. And I'm like, I don't know how to describe this. And he goes, just do the best you can. I go, they're with you? And he goes, yep. I go, did you come out of that ship? Yes, I did. You been here the whole time? Yes, I have. You're just like me? Yes, you are. Simple questions answered. He was wearing the white robe.
Now,
and
those
everything.
experiences where you said that reptilians approached you and
Constantly.
then Jesus came, was this visionary experiences or is this physically happening?
Physical.
Really?
So the ayahuasca experiences were ayahuasca related. So it feels just as real as here.
Yeah.
Wherever here is, but Aya doesn't take me out of the room. She doesn't like put me in dimension 9. I sit in my body because the body has to upgrade. It has to be prepared for this. So there's things around us in layers as we're rising in frequency that are already planted their flag in that frequency resonance. So as we're passing through, we're cleaning and clearing it. It's like, you can't be here anymore. Game over, man. If there's a demon in the corner, you can't leave him there because he's fucking cute. You gotta go. So I was busy cleaning the whole thing. And when I'm asking, hey, we're on a ley line, I see it when I drink. When I eat mushrooms, it runs right under the pathway of the underground train that's right under us. And they're like, yeah, well, they built the trains on the ley lines. We're taking them back. And I'm like, so I've been a warrior this whole time, but you got me in here like a shaman. And they're like, that's warrior enough. Because the warrior you will want to go fight everybody. And we've already done that. We want that guy to kick everyone out. We'll do the rest. Right? So on this journey, I've been removed and replaced. I was beaten as a kid when I first moved into this house. I went outside and I got beat up by bullies that were literally 4 years older than me. And that was a lot when you're like 12. Yeah. Right? They were like way bigger and they beat the crap out of me. And something changed in me. I didn't like act the way I did anymore and all this shit. I was different. I became like, I'm going to go after every bully. And I got big, young. I was like 5'8", 160 pounds. I was like 9th grade. I was just beating up all the bullies because of the experiences I had. But when I drank ayahuasca, they showed me getting beat up that day. And there were versions of me standing around going, this one is too clean. This is what they said. This one is too clean. He was like the happy version of me. He likes to sing. He likes to dance. He plays with action figures. He likes to go outside. He's rough and tumble, but he's loving and he sings songs. Yeah, that ain't going to work here. This is going to happen every day if he doesn't do something. And he's not going to be able to do that. And they just plucked him out. And this other version of me went in there. And that guy was great for like 5 years, and then it was ruining my life because getting rid of that now, that leads to jail sometimes or death or bad things. And I went rock star with it. So there were times where I was removed and replaced.
Do you think
and
this
put on a
happens
different
to
path.
everyone on a certain level with major perspective shifts or new understandings or awareness that possibly a higher version of themselves may just step in based on the events that are unfolding on different levels of reality?
Well, if you're contracted or you're here to experience something and that experience is being interrupted, granted, we're in a dualistic system in 3D, you can step out into the street and get hit by a car. But some of that stuff can't be helped, but you hear about those events too, where somebody gets hit by something or they go into a coma and they come out a completely different character, right? Those are all still versions of themselves. And some of them are where you give up your position and a new version of it's like somebody else comes in and you allow them to just come in and you leave. So that consciousness is now gone. And that new being takes over, but that new being also has all the same things that you have, is what I'm trying to say. So now it's in that position where any of its cells can take over whatever's. See, this is what they explain: whatever's necessary for the contract. So you're contracted to not die, but look at you. You died. You died here. You died here. You got way overweight. look what happened there. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this has been going on forever. So in context, the clock face. So I say a lot of times to my clients, we're not going anywhere. It's just we're standing. There's a version of us standing on like a plate or a platform, right? When you stand on the platform, it activates you with what we're about to experience. And around you comes this donut shape of energy, right? And it starts folding in on itself and moving around in a circle. Was at the torus field that activates that. Boom. Then you have to go in time. The clock face forms around you. Now, you've already done at that moment the whole game. Now you have to live through it. And it's not a flat space anymore. You realize, oh, wait a second. That's a winding staircase that goes from my feet to my head inside of me. And that's the ascension opening. And you're really just walking the stairs up. And you get stuck on some steps and this happens and that happens. But when we came here, it's the evolution was set with a choker on it because you can't stop the evolution. They tried. And we're regaining our so 2-strand DNA. They allow your body to just activate now, right? So you're allowed to evolve. So they shut frequencies off and soul traps and all kinds of shit gets turned off. And you're allowed to evolve, but you haven't been allowed to evolve. So it acts like a fucking spring now, like a slinky or something, where you pull it open and all the trauma physically as you pull open starts to reveal itself, and it comes out as above, so below. You witness it in society, you see it in yourself, you bear witness to it, you heal the traumas, you take what you need, you get rid of the rest, and it's like cleaning out both top and bottom edges of the slinky steps inside of you that you haven't been able to get to. And then you begin to feel lighter. And then your journey up the staircase isn't with a 50-pound backpack. Right now, as you achieve different levels and layers, obviously like a video game, there are unlockables. Yes. You are an unlockable to yourself.
Yeah.
So that's how this higher. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to tell you is he fully locked into me during the mushroom.
That's what I was about to ask you about.
I ate mushrooms. Yeah. So I ate mushrooms, and the mushroom explained to me and showed me the whole experience. I had to face the whole experience.
This was a few days after the experience,
like,
you said?
It was like 3 days. It was like on the third day I ate the mushrooms and was like, I can't deal with this no more. This guy is not fighting me. It's like just overtaking me like a wave. And I'm not used to any of this shit at all. He's completely different. And I'm like, oh shit. So he has some similar, some 100% different. So they were showing me from a higher level, looking at my body, laying in the bed right here. And he locked into my body. So for those days that I was complaining, I don't know, it doesn't feel right, he was like wafting around me, and then it like finally locked inside. And they were like, listen, so this is a good thing. It doesn't matter which version of you does it. You have to fulfill the contract. That's why people are stepping in. Things are occurring this way. When you step out of line to a certain degree, and we're like, what happened? We're allowed to interfere and integrate on levels that you guys aren't aware of just yet. So, but my body apparently was unlocked enough to have him fully integrate with me. So then they were saying, like, listen, things are going to be different now, but they're going to really be different. Magic's going to be a little more quicker.
Potent.
I'm holding the thought. I was screaming. I told you before. Does this guy know how to rap? Does he know how to sing? The fuck is going on here, right? And he's like, oh, I'm going to have to find out. But my learning, something happened over now it's been a month, right? So my learning increased ridiculously, and my focus ridiculously. I learned how to do things that I couldn't do And then if maybe I had those thoughts, I wouldn't do it because it might have seemed like too much work. Whereas this guy just breezes through it. He like thinks about it and just does it. And I'm like, wow, that happened. That was fast. I can't believe you just did that. Did you create that? Did you do that? And it's like, yeah. So now my body is beginning to start to feel the vibe of the new guy. It's just different.
Right on, man.
I had a different way of doing things. This guy has a completely different way of doing them. My wife loves it. She's like, oh, it's adult Frank.
Yeah. Right?
It's adult Frank, and he still has the magic.
Oh, man.
Right? I'm not a complainer anymore. I used to complain a little bit, like, because they're shadow banning me on everything. They demonetized me on YouTube. So all this happened at the same week, by the way. They demonetized me. I haven't had more than like 40 views at one time on Twitter in the last month and a half or some shit. Right? YouTube fully demonetized me, so I'm just whatever. I just put stuff up randomly, and everything would be starting from scratch. And I'm like, what do I do? And I'm like, well, the higher version of me just says keep going.
Yeah. Don't
stop. If you sit in it, you're going to waft in it, and we don't want you there because you're walking that evolution staircase that you were held back for a long time. So we got to catch up. So we got to go through these things. They'll feel like tests, and you'll feel them as pressures and emotional outbursts and whatever. And you're going to be hit with them nonstop. It never stops, right? Because that's what you've come here to figure out. I'll be asking Shiva, like, hey, Shiva, you get angry and shit? Like, you get upset? You want to punch someone in the face? He's like, yep, every day. I'm like, you serious? And he goes, yeah, well, you overcome it. I go, He goes, you got to fight every thought. Because what happens is you challenge the thoughts till the thoughts are controlled by you. You gain control over them by fighting them. It seems like a lot at first, like, oh, my head. But you challenge it. No, I'm not weak. No, I'm not simple-minded. No, I didn't fail. Yes, I will be successful. I'll fix it. I'll change it, but I'll do it. And you go and do it. But you say it to yourself inside, not I'll do it later or I'll get to it. Be like, no, I'm in the now moment now. I got to fix this thing now or do this thing now. But when I'm done, I'm coming at you and I'm going to fix that. Be sure I'm going to be there. And it's like there's this intense fucking focus. Like it's automatic. It's like breathing. I don't have to, like it's like it's like a folder on a desktop that's sitting right here. I can just access it. It's not here. It's right here. You're not supposed to hold this stuff in you. So, here was one of the big takeaways. So this goes for everyone. So during this upgrade of intensity, one of the things I didn't mention was, so when this being came in and took over, my inside outside effect changed. And I'm going to explain this really quick. So I used to, what they would call having holes in your armor where things could get in and affect you, right? It would come in, you get miserable, you get angry, and you get flustered. You can't control it. Why am I like this? Why am I doing this? What's going on? Okay. So that's a lot of outside stuff affecting you inside. It's like, why are you letting that happen? I'm like, well, I didn't know that was there. Well, this time he stepped in. My inside became this oval that looked like a void. Didn't feel like a void. Felt great. But this circle of white energy won't not let anything in. So that comes in. Nope. And then eventually your aura is now saying, nope. So none of these bad, fucked up things are getting in. And only from the inside can I pour out of my heart space. That energy will come from the inside and pour out into the environment, 3D, whatever. But nothing's now allowed in at all. Like it does. Good luck with that shit. Once again, it's like breathing. I didn't have to try, but this occurred when he stepped in, which means the other version of me was missing something completely. And that crack in my armor caused an unaliving scenario.
Wow.
that was out in the street somewhere and that occurred, and I was just like, they could have been way worse.
There's a lot to unpack there, and I think this does fit in with what I was mentioning in my introduction, the state of the collective attempting to find answers and make that spiritual connection. Ever since the COVID fiasco, I've noticed, of course, more and more people that have become aware of the problems. But as far as solutions, like I said in my introduction, they're being given solutions by the same parasites that have caused the problems, and I see a lot of people headfirst diving into those false solutions. What are your observations on the current state of the collective and the reaction by the parasites that is influencing people's direction that they're trying to head spiritually? There seems to be a lot of confusion. People are being offered the Coke and Pepsi versions of spirituality by the mainstream systems. That seems to be what many people are relying on for answers. And in my perspective, that's just going to lead them to more confusion and cause more problems. But what are your observations about the state of consciousness?
All right. So the script has got everything so lifted in a dark, weird way while during the age of Aquarius, everything's to be revealed in the new age, right? So I'm going to keep the staircase thing we were just talking about in mind. As you get to a certain level, even as a collective, none of this shit works no more. It just doesn't work, right? But here's the problem. You dig into it, they'll give you every rabbit hole you want. Yeah. There's something for everyone, and they'll have you fighting with politicians and arguing up and down and left and right. Obviously, we know what we like and what we don't like. Get the news, be aware, but don't be so concerned with it unless this is your purpose. If this is your purpose, like some people's purpose is to go get involved on that level. Mm-hmm. But if it's not your purpose, you're to. So this is the rule, as my shamanic rule that ayahuasca herself gave me. You're to step away and observe. Not get involved, but be fully aware. Concentrate on yourself. It's not selfish. Worry about only the people around you, right? Only help those that put their hand out and ask proper, not those that are just screaming. Like we don't work with those people, because I need someone that I can get to where you're at. And I'm like, right, you just unlock it and then it works, right? But if you're frantic, I can't work with them. Because everybody wants the silver bullet, and this isn't a silver bullet. This is the start of a beautiful relationship, not a silver bullet. Like you drink ayahuasca, you still need to put into play in the 3D world everything she taught you. And what I'm learning is that's all the things nobody wants to do.
Yeah.
But so when you implement it, you're like, awesome, though. Things happen to you and they change the whole outcome. But if you're too invested in the script, you can't do that properly because you're being pulled down a path, right? So hear me when I say this. We are on the staircase collectively heading towards a layer top, and we're going to pop through that top. But in that layer, and down the sides, it's run by a lowercase g AI, okay, a couple of Archon characters, and a whole shitload of other people that we always talk about, right? But we're gonna boop collectively past that line and that barrier. You know what happens at that point? None of that shit matters. Literally, it's not gonna matter. It's not going to matter. So this is what I'm saying when I talk to people. I'm like, look, the stories are good. The stories are great. But what have you done? Like when I read my comic book of my life, it's fucking interesting. It's awesome. Right. But as the person I am sharing this world and space with all of the other creators, when I flip through a comic book, the best part is the splash page. When I flip the page, or I'm at the end of the book, or the very beginning of the first page of the new book, and you're standing there. Holy shit, it's Chris Matthew. When did you get here? And it's like, oh, Chris just entered, another superhero. Bong, and the story continues. And then the end of that chapter is the two of us standing there, and we're like, holy shit, it's you. And it's Don standing there, right? Oh, it's Steve, and he shows up. The wives are all with us doing magic the whole time. And we're like, so it was just the men being wrangled the whole time because we have to learn how to bring it down a notch and help you guys get up a notch because it belongs to be in the balance and all that. And it's like, yeah, well, we knew this. It was time for you to catch up. It's like, holy shit, this book is fucking great.
Yeah.
Right? Like, where are you in that book, though? Where are you? I'm talking to the people at home, Fearless family, you know, the people out there that you want more. You become the more. I'm telling you, you do. I'm not just wired to have these scenarios to talk about them to make money because I make zero doing this. I literally take time away from the things that make me money to do this. And I love it. I love giving the knowledge away, but you have to do something with it. And you don't have to drink ayahuasca. I have clients that don't do psychedelics. There's a million things you could do, and they're all out there. And there's no perfect path. That's the beauty of this whole thing. You choose your adventure. You will unlock. This is evolution. You're going to do it. You're coming. If you're like, I'm coming, you're coming. And you being there is enough. They always tell me, like, go create something. Go in the yard and make something. Clean up or freshen up or sing yourself a song. Go write a song. Right? Take yourself, go pet your cat, go attack your cat right now, jump on the floor and be like, I fucking love you. Right? And it just pulls you from the thought of all the things I got to do, blah, 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 blah. And you fucking focus and you're like, oh, the now moment. I'm playing with my little fuzzy bear.
I love it, man.
Right?
Yes.
And you're just like, this is amazing. How come it doesn't always feel like this? Because you're bugging out. Your mind is filtering the time, but you're a master of this whole thing. You ground in and it bends to you, the matrix. You don't bend to it.
I love it, man.
That's the rule of the creator being. And that's why we are so relevant and important to the whole universal structure. Don't sell yourself short.
I love it, man.
Every distraction on this planet is just for you.
That's great. Let's pivot a bit. In the beginning, before we started recording, you were telling me about your near-death experience and that you had an experience with a demon. I'd love to hear about that.
Yes. Oof. Okay, so I woke up. I think it was like 4 or 5 days ago now. I put it out on Twitter. Unfortunately, nobody sees that in the void. But so I woke up and I sat up right here in my chair. And see, this is why awareness is so important. Oh, so important. So I started getting that feeling again across my chest. And I said, come on, I just woke up. There's no way that the hand that was removed from me came back. We're in a high frequency. I'm not even freaking out about what happened anymore. I gave it up. I've already moved on. I actually started going in the positive direction. This can't be going on. And I'm sitting here, and right here, I have my little bells, right? So I look over and I see them. And I'm like focused on them for just 1 second. And I go, I'm aware of that. I don't know why that came through so crystal clear. But I got this thing now, and now it's squeezing my heart. It starts squeezing. So I'm like, and I look up, and Tim Pool had a thing talking about Tucker Carlson being attacked by a demon. Mm-hmm. It was like in the title. And I saw it in big, bold letters, demon. And then I said, come on, I'm just waking. I didn't even fucking coffee yet. Nothing. I didn't even pee. Nothing. I'm like, this is frustrating. So I look over here at the screen and I have YouTube up on this screen. And I'm like, I got multi-screens. And then I'm like, I see the demon thing that was on that screen. And right here, I see another one. So I go, all right, well, this is really hurting me. I should call 911 because I can't have this happen again. Nobody's with me or whatever. I started fucking freaking out. I grab my bells. I just look over. It was almost like I'm not in control. I just pull them over. Nice ring. This whole side was hurting. Let me see if I get it again. Put it by my ear. The hand that was there the other day comes out. And right in front of me is a goat man being. His feet were on this table right here. He was looking at me, but his hands were being pulled out of me by the sound the bells were making. And I was like, whoa. And now he's standing here. He's looking at me. I said, oh, you got a goat head. It's Buff. It's my man Buff. You son of a bitch. Hairy boobs and all. Goat bottom with the legs. And now so he's looking down at me. And he's getting his hands back. They're not made of smoke no more. They're like become his hands. He looked frustrated. Like, ah, man. And then I'm now coming up to his level. I don't know how this was happening. I think my frequency rise. And he looks right at me in the face. He goes, and I'm like, you fucking kidding me? You got to get out of here, kid. And boom, he was pulled all. I'm like, am I going up or is he going down? This bitch just waved at me. I was ready to fight him. He was not etheric. He was standing here. All right, so one of my abilities, so just so everyone's clear, I have the ability to see up and down in density. I don't need anything to do it. Everything's loud and clear to me now. I don't drink ayahuasca all the time. I do enjoy doing mushrooms at least once a month. I haven't smoked DMT in a year. So there are things that I do, things that I don't. I don't need it. I want my body to activate its superpowers. Yeah. The plant medicines are teachers to get you in the position so you can do it. I was just a very big meathead, but I'm also a shaman. So see how it works out every lifetime. So to break me out of the meatheadedness, I needed the plant medicine. It's funny. The thing you do in every lifetime comes back to save you in the lifetime you need it the fucking most. You just pay attention and boom, it arrives. And you're like, holy shit. And then you find out some of this has been here the whole time. Right? How did I miss this? It's like, well, you're not paying attention. But now that you are and you're aware, you continue. So you want your awareness is key. I'm aware this is occurring. I'm aware there's more going on. Okay, that's really all you need. You didn't really need the playbook when you came here. The playbook came into play when the deception occurred. Once the deception occurred, it was like, it went from like, we're spinning, slow. They couldn't stop. You can't stop it. If they stopped it, we would all die and we would be like, we're not going to have this experience. But slow enough, with just the right amount of liquid and pressure, you're golden. Especially they use us to create for them. Right? A lot of people feel small, and I'm like, don't feel small. Everything here has been set to deceive you on purpose, so you don't pay attention to you, to rise through that moment and pop out. If you pay attention to politics right now, you're going to bug out. I'm aware of it. I got up. My whole Twitter feed is just what it is. One day it was all Nazis. I was like, are you communists everywhere? I was like, what is going on? New York communists. But so check out this old show. Not old show. One of the last shows I did, I talked about a dream that I had during the last couple of days where Mandami, Zohan, whatever his name was. I talked about this a week ago. I said, in the dream, Trump was there. He had a little panel of people. And that guy Zohan was there with him, and he was actually with Trump, and it was an infiltrator for the good guys. And I couldn't believe it because it was right when the election was going on and stuff here. And I said, that can't happen. That's not true. And they're like, how else would you route out the enemy? You bring in someone that will activate the enemy to go, yeah, and they all come out. Now we know where you all are. Scoop. bring them back. They had him on a puppet string. They had Ndami on a string, like they were fishing. And then they brought him back, and then they zipped him out again, and more guys came out. He started asking for money and help and all kinds of weird stuff. And we were like, yeah, fuck that communist. And then real commies and people that are just mad sus, groups and NGOs start throwing money at him. And they're like, okay, there they are. Go get them. And they just collapse in on the next group. And I'm like, holy shit, you guys are really routing it out. They're like, oh, did you think it stopped? You guys fall back in a line and forget way too fast that this is a script. So the normies don't lose their shit.
Yeah, I always wonder to what level is our reality scripted, and the more that I look into it, the more levels it seems to be that these people are being used by some grander cosmic intelligence to achieve whatever ideologies that they're trying to put forward. But on a larger scale, if you step back and look at it, it's being revealed to the extent where it's become ridiculous. It's become a parody of itself, and the conspiracy culture is now revealing itself to such a level to where people look at it and it's just an understood part of our reality now. And our reality has become clown world, essentially. It's like things are becoming so ridiculous and obvious that it's almost impossible for your normie not to become aware of these things these days.
So this is how I'm seeing it as you're talking. So I'm like, give me a good example for everyone, please. And this is what my guy just gave me. He said, I want you to think of going back and watching an episode of Friends with the laugh track. Is it really that funny? Right? I'm like, what are you oh yeah, I hate those laugh track things. They're like, when you watch these shows, they're not as funny as they were when they first came out. Whoa, this is funny. Everyone's laughing in the living room. Seinfeld, yeah, whatever. And then now you look back and it's like, does this hold up? And it's like, yeah, that's kind of funny, but not really. You realize they're telling you to laugh. So you're seeing through. But you know that, well, we've just expanded since then and we're different now. Yeah, you moved on from that. It's like I grew up playing action figures. I might have a few around and I enjoy looking at them, but I don't sit and I fucking play with them because I got things to do. I got to become that superhero in real life. Right? So it's like an area. It's like one of those steps that we traveled on, and it was awesome when we hit it. And now we're up here and we're looking back going, yeah, that doesn't work anymore. That's the trick they use against us.
Yeah.
So it will reveal itself as if you're watching an old show with a laugh track. Like that shit, it's not funny no more. It don't fucking work. Like you're beat.
That's a great way to look
at it. And the conspiracy theory is the conspiracy guys. Listen, a lot of us have taken it really far. But you know what? Every time I look in or go into an experience, it's always way worse. It's always darker. And everybody's been right the whole time.
Yeah.
They are chemtrailing. Dude. So my wife was screaming at her peoples because they're like, yeah, that shit ain't real. So they're like, so then why are they banning it?
Right. Yeah.
Why are you wasting taxpayers' money to ban something that's not real? This is the mentality of people, though. They're like, man, that doesn't exist. That's a contrail. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up at this point. You guys are wrong. The whole COVID-19 thing. We were right about the whole thing. Alien black goo. We've been right the whole time. Fucking aliens not in outer space. Everybody's looking at 3-Eye Atlas. Why? You literally have inner Earth here. You haven't looked down once. Your fucking seas got cities in it. The dark side of the moon has fucking things all over. Like, you're so busy. Oh, it could be an alien. They're already fucking here walking around with us. You're too busy thinking, oh, look at this sky. And you should be thinking Men in Black, where they know, oh, there's 1,200 in Jersey at the moment, mingling with the city, right? Because we have laws on this, immigration laws with aliens, right? See, as above, so below.
Yeah. It's right? Like the layers of reality are slowly peeling away and we're seeing the false layers as they fall away, and it's just ridiculous as it does.
Yeah, well, I was explaining to that 4D and down is what you need to encapsulate a 3D experience for a conscious being, right? So you go in as, 1D would be like micro universe, biome, fucking air, a leaf, right? Second density would be like ants, right? They're in 2D. They walk around, but they're fucking conscious. As a shaman, I've been with all these beings. There is consciousness in everything. So for me, it's no argument. It's like, yep, okay, 3D is us and those like us. 4D is the encapsulation of what's in here that we're thinking, building, and creating. It's like an astral area that we pull from. But reality itself, like the egg that cracks and then you're out of the egg. You thought you were in the egg, you were safe in the womb, it was warm. And then boop, you pop. That's the layer we're going to pop through. That's reality. Everything's there and exists. We make jokes about, Bigfoot. Is Bigfoot real or UFOs real? Bro, they're both fucking real. It's all there. I was arguing with a guy online. He's like, there's only 3 reptilians because of my knowledge and whatever the fuck he was talking. It was a fantastic little thread he was doing. But he was like, there's only 3 types of reptilians. They're only this tall. This is how much they weigh. This is where they're from. This is what they do. And I go, oh, so you haven't met the warrior class. He's like, well, obviously you don't know what you're talking about. To whatever. I go, I'm not trying to battle with you. He goes, my information's good. I go, noble. So is mine.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, I've dealt with the warrior class. That's literally the ones I've dealt with, the higher class ones that are gigantic. I go, and you're going to say that's not real. What about the snake men? What about Inner Earth is loaded with raptor beings? You didn't mention them once. All of those are either under 4 feet in the what you said, they're 4 feet to 7 feet. I go, okay, so these are under 4 feet, and above 7 feet would be the warrior class, who is closer to 12, same height as Toth. They looked like something out of a comic book, but that you didn't want to talk to. You were like, oh no, I don't want to. I got to deal with that during ceremonies because of people pull in all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, look who's here watching today. And why would that be so crazy if the Hindu god Sobek is the crocodile god?
Yeah.
He literally looks like a Ninja Turtle character. The crocodile in the sewer with the big arms and everything. Yeah, take the hat and coat off the comic character and you looking at Sobek. Like, we're in it up to here. And once again, and this is just a thought for the future, like, because people talk about 3 days of darkness, 10 days of darkness, right? So I'm like, what if you're just resetting the router at that point?
Yeah.
Right? Did you turn it off and turn it back on? And just hear me out. If Mandani can be and Trump said straight up, him and Elon, that fight they had, they were trolling each other to get more to come out. And they were laughing about it a week ago in the White House. So everyone's trolling everybody else, right? When we pop through on this other end, it's ETs and Inner Earth, infinite energy, just a complete different way. So this is what they're saying. They said, oh, you're going to get a check. $2,000. This is where it starts, right? At first it's 1,000, then it's 1,500, then it's 2,000. And we were like, yeah, bullshit. I got a $200 check just the other day. I got it sitting right here, right? From the state of New York to stimulate the economy. So says Kathy, the giant C word Hochul.
Yeah.
Right. So we're heading into something that's going to be amazing, but it's going to split at some point. Those that stick with the narrative, stay with the narrative. Those that are rising above the narrative rise through and crack the egg and kind of pop out on the other end.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what all your shows, all our shows, all our talks, that's what it's there for, as a buffer system for all this other shit.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you see it? What happens when it's real? right? Everyone's like, yeah, ghosts are real. Everyone has a ghost story, right? And paranormal's real, but then they laugh and like it's a joke.
Yeah.
When you take the next step.
Exciting times, man. Like I said, can't wait to see what comes out of all of this. To close out, any closing thoughts to leave the audience with? Anything upcoming for you?
Well, just know that you're enough. Everything about you is good. You're not less than, you're more than. You are a creator. Everything about this whole thing is because we're that powerful, right? Okay, so with that in mind, just go forward, go with love, and have some compassion. Make sure you ground, meditate a little bit, enjoy your food, send love through and around to everything. It's infinite. What do you have to lose? Just do it. Don't get attached to the narrative. You become your narrative. Live for you now. The rules don't apply as long as you're not hurting, harming yourself, harming others, right? The morals of a good person. Go forth. Be moral. Be good. But do more, right?
Yeah.
Come check me out. Frank Castle Fearless on YouTube at Fearless Tribe. Check out Sons of the Suns music. Our new single, Wizards, out. Off to be the Wizard. It's awesome. We drop in new stuff all the time. And thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time and listening to this. I know it's crazy, but you know what? Life is crazy.
That's it, man.
We've been sheltered for too long.
100%.
No more.
Frank,
Right?
amazing. We will definitely be doing this again as usual. And until next time, everyone, have an excellent evening. Talk again tomorrow. Are you and your family prepared for an emergency? Maybe the fake alien invasion? Now is the time to prepare yourself and your family for any event. Check out Prep Starts Now. Their mission is to provide high-quality preparedness products that empower individuals and families to be ready for any situation. They're committed to delivering reliable, trusted gear to ensure your safety, security, and peace of mind in times of need. Their product selection is carefully curated to provide you with the essential gear you need to stay prepared. From emergency kits to tactical tools, every item is chosen for its reliability and practicality. Prep Starts Now understands the importance of family, and their goal is to equip you with everything you need to build a solid plan for your family's preparedness. In today's ever-changing world, being prepared is more important than ever, and Prep Starts Now is here to help you and your family stay ready with quality products and practical guidance. Use the link in the description and get 15% off your order.